Hey there, welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Mel if you're new around here. I absolutely love to cook and just share recipes on here for fun. Today we're going to be making some recipes that may not be super traditional for Christmas, but will help mix things up a little bit and maybe give you some new ideas. Let's go ahead and get started with today's video and I will show you these 4 recipes. First up today we are making these buttered red potatoes. This is a very simple recipe and just a good way to change it up from the usual mashed potatoes. On my cutting board I have about 1 pound to 1.5 pounds of red potatoes. I washed those really well, and then I'm just using my potato peeler and my knife to remove any spots that look a little bit weird or just parts that I really don't want to have left on the potatoes, and then just cutting them up into larger cubes. I washed those off one more time and then added them to a pot of water. I let those boil for about 10 minutes until they were fork tender but not mushy. You don't want them to be mushy, you want them to still hold their shape and not fall apart. So once they were fork tender, I just removed those from the heat and drained them. I put them back in the same pot, and then now we're just going to add in some butter. I'm adding in half a stick of butter. Like I said, this is all to taste at this point. You can make them however you want to, but you want them to be well covered with butter, so I did use about 1/2 of a stick. After the butter has melted, I just kind of toss them all in the butter, and then I start adding in some seasonings. I'm using plenty of salt, pepper, garlic powder, and parsley. Like I said, this is all to taste, so make sure you season it how you like. Of course, if you are serving these for Christmas or any other holiday or get together, you can plate them up nicely and add some more fresh parsley over the top to make it look even better. But tonight we were just having them for dinner, and this is how I serve them, just with some baked pork chops and some broccoli. But these potatoes are so easy, and you don't have to dirty a lot of pots and pans to make them happen. Next up, we are making a family favorite, chicken and stuffing casserole. This casserole is so easy, and you can pull it together really quick, and it is also pretty budget friendly. To begin, I preheated my oven to 375 degrees, and then I took 2 medium-sized chicken breasts and I cut them down the center. This will make it look like there are 4 pieces of chicken. And then I am just lightly going to season these with just a little bit of salt and pepper and add those into the oven for about 10 to 12 minutes until they're cooked all the way through. While those are in the oven, we're going to go ahead and get started on the stuffing. We are using boxed stuffing, and I like to use the chicken flavor for this. I followed the directions, adding the appropriate water and butter amounts, and then added in both bags of the stuffing. I'm going to get this mixed together and then just let it sit until the chicken is out of the oven. I always tempt my chicken just to ensure that it is cooked all the way through, and then once I confirmed, I went ahead and just shredded that chicken up right here in this same dish. Now that that's all shredded up, I'm just going to pour all of the stuffing into this same baking dish. Very carefully, I'm just going to stir this all together and get it nicely combined. Now that it's mixed up pretty well, I'm just going to take some mild shredded cheddar cheese and add that over the top. Sometimes I will layer this and I will do a little bit of chicken and stuffing first, add some cheese, and then top it with more chicken and stuffing, and then top it with more cheese over the top. But today we're just keeping it very simple and just adding the cheese right over the top. I usually end up adding about 1.5 cups to 2 cups over the top because the more cheese the better in my opinion. And then this is just going back in the oven for maybe 10 more minutes just to melt the cheese on top. Here's what it looks like coming out of the oven. I like to add a little parsley over the top just to give it a little extra color. This is unbelievably simple and very quick and easy. My entire family loves this meal. It's actually one of my husband's favorite meals, but this is a very easy, inexpensive, and quick casserole you could take just about anywhere. Next, we're going to be making these baked barbecue smoked sausages. I'm baking these in the oven today, but you can also make these in a crock pot. I went ahead and preheated my oven to 375 degrees, and I'm going to be using 2 packages of this smoked turkey sausage. You can use any kind that you like, I just prefer to use the turkey. You'll just want to make sure you slice these in little coins. You can make them thin or you can make them thicker, it's totally up to you. I just kind of try to make them about medium sized, and once they are all cut up, I will add them over into a large bowl. Also into the bowl, you'll want to add 1 cup of your favorite barbecue sauce, a 1/4 cup of packed brown sugar, and 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard. Get that mixed together and make sure to break up that brown sugar so that it mixes in with the barbecue sauce. Once that's all mixed together, I'm moving over to a nice big casserole dish. You will want to use one that's large enough to where you can add the sausage into the bottom of the pan and be able to spread it out in a nice single layer. That way the sauce can thicken up and the sausage can get some nice color to it. Now this is going in the oven to bake for about 40 to 50 minutes. You just want to make sure that the sauce is looking nice and thick, and you'll start to see some color around the edges of the sausage. You can serve this for a holiday or any occasion, party, whatever it is, and just add some toothpicks with them, and it becomes a really nice little appetizer. Or you could actually make this for a meal and have a really nice kid-friendly meal. I just served it with some macaroni and cheese on this night and kept it nice and simple. Next up, we're making a fun recipe. This is a cheesy pull-apart Christmas tree bread. I actually made this last year on Christmas just because it was just me, my husband, and my brother-in-law, and we decided just to do appetizers, and this is one of the things I made. I preheated my oven to 400 degrees to start, and then over to my cutting board, I have 1 can of pizza dough. I am using canned pizza dough, but you can also make fresh pizza dough if you want to. This is just the quick and easy way to do it if you're making a lot of recipes all in one day. I just made sure to stretch that pizza dough out to make sure that it was one nice even square. Using a pizza cutter is going to be the easiest way to cut this without the dough sticking to your knife or anything. So I'm just going to go ahead and take my pizza cutter and cut this into 30 little squares. Once I have those all cut up, I did open up some cheese sticks. I just bought a package of them and used as many as I needed for this. Each cheese stick I am cutting into 4 little pieces and then adding it on top of each one of those squares. Once I am done cutting up the cheese sticks, I am going to begin wrapping the dough around the pieces of cheese stick. Just make sure the cheese stick is covered up as much as possible, and then I like to roll it in my hands just to try to even it out the best I can and try to make it as round as possible. Now I have lined my pizza pan with some parchment paper just to make sure this doesn't stick, and it helps make sure you can move it a lot easier when you're done cooking it. So to begin, I'm going to add 1 little ball to the top, and then every time you'll just add 1 more. So the second row has 2, third row has 3, fourth row has 4, and so on. want to save 2 of those little balls to add to the end, that way it can be the bottom of the tree. And once that's all done, in this bowl I have 1 beaten egg. I am just going to take that and brush it over each one of these. I went ahead and stuck this in my oven for right around 15 minutes. Right before that's about to come out of the oven, into this bowl I added about 3 tablespoons of butter, a tablespoon of minced garlic, 1 tablespoon of parsley, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of rosemary, and 1 teaspoon of oregano. I stuck that in the microwave for about 20 seconds just to melt it all the way through. Here is what the bread will come out looking like, and at that point you can go ahead and add that seasoned butter. Make sure you get all the sides and use up all that butter because it is definitely what gives this all of its great flavor. And then for the perfect finishing touch, you'll just sprinkle over a little bit of grated Parmesan cheese. This will add even more good flavor. Here's what it looked like when it was all finished. This is definitely better to eat fresh out of the oven or as soon as you can while the cheese is still nice and melty, and overall it's just much more pleasant to eat it when it is hot. On the side I did have some marinara sauce that you can dip it in, but honestly I just like eating these plain, or they're actually really good in ranch as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate you being here. Don't forget to leave me a flower down below if you did make it through the entire video. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday and spend plenty of time with your friends and family, and I will see you back here on Wednesday the 27th. Bye guys!